So, Neptune goes direct. Ready? Neptune goes retrograde June 30th, 2023 for the entire collective at 27 degrees Pisces at 5:06 p.m. Then Neptune goes direct December 6th, 2023, just at the end of the year at 24 degrees Pisces at 8:22 a.m. And the reason why I'm talking about Neptune retrograde is because usually this is the time when we are given the energy to go back within ourselves and create more introspection about what we've seen and how it's affecting our psychology. Remember, Neptune at its highest is higher imagination, higher love, higher altruism, but also Neptune rules deception and lies and deceits and illusions. And there has been a lot of things going on in the workforce industry that I see Neptune retrograde kind of swarming, and a lot of people just being like, I have had enough at this workplace. It cannot define me. This place cannot define who I am. I am going to start my own new business and I'm going to make money. I'm going to find a way, because many people are being zapped. You know, True Blood? Some workforce energies are like True Blood, but it's unseen. It's like you feel a vampire on you, but you don't know where it's from. And then you kind of feel this itchy energy of like, kind of like there is a bit of conflict, but you don't want to engage in it, but you feel your energy being zapped, and then you lose bits of yourself. This is Neptune retrograde to remind you that that's not an illusion. That's real. Neptune retrograde will show you also other people who've been feeling it too, where you can find a sangha, a heart circle where you can come back to. I really feel like it's important here to come back to a heart circle and be like, this is what I've experienced, this is how I feel, and I keep feeling it time and time again in these cycles, and I just want to make enough to survive. I just want to have enough without feeling like there's a tick on my back, sucking all my energy, sucking my sense of self, making me go back and engage in really weird patterns that I was when I was younger, things that are not needed, because so many people, I truly believe, are still not present, or so many people just do not mind their own business. Neptune in retrograde reminds me of people just going out and going in these random ass circles, trying to start random ass stuff with random ass people that you have nothing to do with. This is a time to go back and reflect on your own inner journey, your own inner growth, and how you can find other people to find support. I want to say this is a great time for Aries. We'll start off with you, to watch out for lies, secrets, and deception, stress behind the scenes because of lack of organization. Neptune retrograde will be in your 12th house. So those are the themes of the 12th house, and those are with Piscean at its effect here, double 12th house energy. Really watch out for that. For Taurus, I would say watch out for too many associations with the wrong people. Are you just giving out limbs to the wrong people because you feel like they are somehow taking you to a higher plane here, Taurus? I would just say watch out for the abundance of association with people. It's okay to have friends, but just watch out how much you're associating with. Gemini, 10th house. Neptune in retrograde in Pisces falls in your 10th house. Watch out for publicizing yourself in a negative way in your career. You might be thinking, oh, I'm looking so cute, and I'm saying the cutest caption here. But with Neptune in retrograde, girl, like, you just might end up in a weird place with posting that. I don't know. Neptune retrograde, this is kind of like being careful and more cautious about how you publicize yourself here, Gemini. For Cancer, it's in your 9th house, so watch out for going on long distance locations, far trips, without proper organization, without proper preparation, without proper understanding of what a long distance trip truly entails here, Cancer. I think it's really important to be like, there's going to be Neptunic energy. So it's like, on the higher aspect, you're going to feel higher love, right? But on the lower aspect, it's like bank account destroyed because you decided to go way out to a whole nother continent with really no planning, for like an Airbnb to totally cancel last minute, for like, you know, flight cancellations. You know, here you could have the city itself just not really be up to par, really up to like your standards, so you're having to spend extra money to get things that you would have got in your home country for, you know, half the price. I think it's really important when you're traveling to realize things we value in this country, in America, in the US. USA is the country, but the continent of North America. But yes, in the country of USA, the things we value, like we value, I don't know, like hygiene here, and like things like that in another country, they might value it, but it might be like at a higher price. That's something really to factor in, because I think a lot of people think, oh, like I can find, like, for example, some cities sell avocados for 10 times the price. I know in the Philippines, avocados are a bit more expensive than they are in America. So Cancerians, watch out for engaging in long distance travel without the proper financial preparation. Even though it's in your 9th house, it's still the dream of you traveling that creates the Neptunic energy itself. And for Leo, it falls in your 8th house. So watch out for spending too much on the wrong things, again, without any financial preparation here. Or like not understanding things fully and like rushing to conclusions. I think it's really important to be territorial and have boundaries and have a sense of self, and work with the things that you've learned about yourself and keep building rather than trying to wash away everything and start again. I think it's, even though patterns also point to our flaws and our blind spots, and it's uncomfortable to see that, I think it's really important to have people around you pointing to your blind spots here of how you might be engaging with a person without really any sense of self, which is creating kind of self-deprecating habits. So I think it's important to be like, well, I love this person, but I also need a sense of self, and I need a boundary, and I need to go to the gym, and I need to work out, and I need to do positive mantras. And teach here, Leo, with Neptune in the 8th, teach someone about self-love. For Virgo here, it falls in your 7th house. So Neptune in Pisces will be going retrograde June 30th, 2023 in Virgo in your 7th house. So watch out for lunging into relationships here out of a deep sense of loneliness and not realizing there was no compatibility involved in the process of engaging with this person in terms of a hookup or relationship. It was all physical. It was all lust. Yikes here, Virgo. I don't think it's bad. I mean, we've had Neptune here for years, but I don't think it's bad to engage in a new partnership here. But with it going retrograde, maybe kind of like take a little inventory of how you have engaged in irresponsible relationships because you have done things out of lust rather than really using your practical sensibility here, Virgo, and being like, I actually need more intellectual like substance of a click for me, because Virgo has a checklist. So even if you don't have Venus in Virgo, or even if you don't have Mercury in Virgo here, you still have a mental checklist about what your ego needs to be, I want to say, verified or validated. And I feel like, because you're after Leo, so it's almost like your ego needs to feel the intellectual click for you. It's almost like a must. And really, like, when you're engaging in things out of lust, you're missing out on what your ego needs because of this Neptune energy here falling in your 7th. And maybe the retrograde is about, maybe you've improved. So great if you've improved in your selection of relationships. I'm really happy for you, for your partnerships. But if you haven't, maybe this is a great time to be like, well, maybe I rushed to a conclusion about, the person I said no to, and maybe there is something, and maybe they are more intellectual, and maybe that's good because it takes, puts things into like understanding, like a true connection is not always just the physical. Here it could also be great for partnerships with businesses, so you might be able to go back and look at things in your email or things in your mailbox and find new inspiration here, because Neptune is inspiration for new business undertakings. For Libra, Neptune falls in your 6th house, so watch out for burdening yourself with too much stuff to do in your day-to-day life. Like, if you don't have any time to relax or to enjoy yourself, it will kind of create just more stress patterns. And I think with Neptune going in retrograde, it's like, how have I increased my stress? When really here with Neptune in retrograde for Libra, you'll be understanding like, how can I decrease my stress? How can I have a bit more time for higher imagination, for higher art here, for incorporating music and stuff, radical healing, so I can have a more ease in my work, in my day-to-day life. Maybe you try a new diet Maybe some of you go keto. Maybe some of you go vegetarian, from meat eaters to vegetarian, or even from vegetarian you go to vegan, and you're like, oh my god, yeah, I feel like way more nourished here. I feel like I'm getting my nutrients, my macro and micronutrients are being met here, because here Neptune is giving you the vision of a higher routine, but also be very realistic about what it means to be higher in your routine. And maybe that means like just cutting out some clutter, cutting out some things that were causing stress. Maybe you were working out too much. Maybe you need to try yoga for a period. Maybe you're going to the gym and doing weights when you need to do cardio. I think it's really important to just switch it up and work with your routine and see how that feels. For Scorpio, Neptune here falls in Pisces, falls in your 5th house. So I think it's really important to watch out for your need to be over-validated in your love relationships, and understand your own inner creativity and for higher pursuits and understanding of the inner child here, because the 5th house rules creativity, love, and it also rules the inner child and children. But those can also be switched to like children could be your inner child, and love could be self-love, and creativity could be your own creative pursuits. I think it's really interesting how like we've looked at the houses and like made them all about like you have to attain something to realize something and see your potential. But I think it's actually you just working with your inner self here, Scorpio, and being like, I validate myself and I validate my hobbies and the things I love to do. And I think I love my person, here with love. It could be like you love your person regardless of who they are, because Neptune is here. And then you realize, like, maybe here it's about coming back into your own inner creativity and being creative with your relationships and finding a higher goal, a higher vision, and also as well understanding your inner child. For Sagittarius, Neptune falls in the 4th house in Pisces. So I say watch out for over-idealism of the place you're living. Look for cues into understanding your emotions and feeling relaxed in the feeling of it all, in the presence of higher intuition and understanding, like maybe you have more aspirations around water. Maybe because Sagittarius is the mutable fire, always kind of starting fires in random places, or many different jobs, many different kind of business avenues. I think with Neptune coming backwards, I think it's like, well, are you really making money in that place that you have your Sagittarian fire glowing? Is it really worth your time and energy to really engage in that behavior now, because it's in your 4th house going back? And so maybe you don't have the emotional energy to sustain certain projects, so you start being like, well, I want to spend more time at home. How can I beautify my home? Maybe there's so much emphasis on starting new things here because of the Sagittarian energy, the natural energy, but maybe it's more about refraining it and coming back in and beautifying your home, because Neptune here falls in the 4th, and the 4th rules the home, and then Neptune is obviously like beautifying it. So I think it's kind of understanding a balance of how can you balance like your understanding of inspiration and bringing that into your home life. For Capricorn, Neptune will be going backwards in the 3rd house for you, and Pisces. So watch out for communicating without any thought for the other person in terms of sensitivities and compassion. Like, I think it's fine to be in your Capricorn state of mind, kind of like laughing away life's troubles and observing, as Capricorns usually do. But I think it's important to be like, also understand that people might just want to feel appreciated in terms of words of affirmation, because like the 3rd house is obviously ruling communication, siblings, and short distance travel. Maybe people want to see you. Maybe you want to see a new place that's just around the house, or try a new restaurant. Or maybe you feel more inspired to communicate with new groups of people here. But Capricorn, the energy is coming backwards. So maybe you've done this in the past and you've realized it really hasn't like engaged with your higher self, or you didn't feel ignited. But I want to say, Capricorn here, maybe take it with a grain of salt. Maybe in life it's not about totally giving up on new pursuits of communication, but understanding just where you feel the most valued to engage in communication. Moving forward, Aquarius 2nd house. Watch out. So, moving forward, Aquarius, Neptune in retrograde, and Pisces falls in your second house. So I think it's about watching out for spending too much money on the wrong things. Here, Neptune is gonna be like adding value, adding beauty and inspiration to your second house. So you're gonna feel like maybe you have healing abilities, or maybe you're feeling like there's other aspects of your soul that you can connect with that don't involve too much engagement with spending so much money on feeling inspired. Maybe you start painting, or maybe you start, playing a new instrument, and you find yourself in the frequency in that 432 hertz of like beauty and love, and you find the Om vibration of new creative habits. So you're not constantly spending or feeling like the only way to feel inspired is if you're spending on something to support someone, which is great, but also realize here it's coming back in retrograde. So these are things you've worked through towards the end of last year and even the mid part of last year into this year, and now you can feel, so Neptune is, going back to the 24th degree. And I'll actually tell you when Neptune was last in the 24th degree. Check. So Neptune was actually back in the 22nd degree last year around mid-April. I want to say 18th of April 2022. Neptune was in the 24th degree. So we've had so much time to engage with the involvement of Neptune's progression. And I think it coming back is telling us, wait, we're not going into Aries just yet. Right? But I don't want to deviate. But we have to cover Pisces. So yes, Pisces will be in the first house. So watch out for going into addictive habits to free yourself of personal responsibilities, especially with Saturn and Pisces here. You might just need to go in a higher vibration here, Pisces. I really feel like it's about being like, well, I'm engaging too much with the wrong things on a Neptunic level, which is creating more deception and illusion immediately in my life. And Saturn here is like cutting on that. Like, you cannot kind of engage with everything. You cannot be of all of Neptune all the time here, because Saturn is now in Pisces. So somebody's taking karmic, evaluation of your situation here, Pisces. And if you're going to constantly be in this escapist world, it's okay. But understand why you're doing it is the more important thing. Is it for safety? Is it spiritual? Is it like a spiritual seclusion? Because that makes sense, right? Like to be in, like I just don't want to engage with certain people. Yeah, I agree. But also, just don't get into any like addictive habits or break into addictive habits here, just because Neptune's been here for so long, and that kind of compassion and sensitivity here is placed in Pisces. So you guys feel it the most, but it's also so important to just be like, there is a karmic evaluation happening. So your compassion is being recognized for sure. But understand that with Saturn here, it's not like you're going to engage with everyone in the first house. There's going to be cuts and losses. You're going to be engaging with people that are on your vibration here, Pisces. And that's what you need to see how to level up to where you want to be, but also to see who really is here for you.